Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good day. It is Wednesday. What is today? April 26th, and you're here at the Meta Mind Shift Show. Man, you guys, it's the end of April. I'm in shock that we have reached this space already. This is a little too early for me. I was expecting us to be in February, and we have moved all the way on to the end of April.
When I see you, I'm high enough, when I'm with you, I'm high energy when I see you, yeah. I'm high energy whenever I'm near you. I'm high energy.
All right, we're back. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, so we're back. High energy and being ready for the metaverse go hand in hand. Absolutely, yes, they do. And so we are thinking about the metaverse today. We're talking about the metaverse today. We're thinking about how the metaverse came to be. And I don't know what you heard and what you didn't, so I'm just going to start over. So man, when you're thinking about like the future of technology and the future of the metaverse, you are always thinking about, or you should always be thinking about how you can take what you're doing now and prepare it for the future. And so I am absolutely, I was talking about my journey into this space and how we got started and how I got started. And obviously, like I existed before the metaverse that we know today did, right? And so I have a history of being an implementation consultant. I help people implement their vision, their technology, their system. And I connect people and systems and processes together for implementation harmony. And so that's what I do. That's by profession, by trade, that's what I do. And a lot of times that includes automation. So we automate a process that can be optimized. There's a term for that, and that term is robotic process automation. For me specifically, it's document process automation. There are so many different things happening right now in the world that the conversation is being changed and shifted and molded and manipulated by a lot of people. And so it's really important just to take a step back and assess what is happening, what are we doing, and how are we moving forward. And so what is the metaverse? That's the basics. That's why you come here every week, so we can talk about what the metaverse is and how you can take advantage of it in your business or in your entrepreneurial endeavors. If you're a solopreneur, you can take advantage of it there too. So what is the metaverse? Anybody? Y'all out there? Anybody? When we're thinking about the metaverse, what it is extremely important to understand. And so the first thing to understand about the metaverse is that it's not what we have today. We're calling stuff everything under the sun. I know there was a point in time on this metaverse journey where literally everything under the sun became the metaverse. And everybody was saying, well, that's the metaverse, and that's the metaverse. And when you're standing in your kitchen and you happen to have a Google Home Hub, that's a metaverse too. Or if you're talking to your refrigerator, that's a metaverse. And people aren't necessarily wrong. The wrong piece of that is saying that that's what we're going to have, because we're at the foundational starting point for all of this stuff. So if you have a computer that is automated, that's great. If you have a kitchen or a refrigerator that has automation in it and you can talk to it, maybe you can pull up an app on your phone. It's a part of something called the Internet of Things. And so that is an appliance or a device that has connectivity to the internet as we know it. And so what we also have is another type of, we have smart devices, right? So that is also a component of the metaverse. Devices that are intelligent. And as we are building up things and we're seeing all this technology fly around us, we've seen over the years the progression of things like radio into TV. We've seen things like your phone, your smartphone go from a big bulky phone that you might have had in your car. There were big, humongous car phones, and they were blocks back then. To these beautiful devices that we have now called smartphones. And some of them are smarter than a whole bunch of computers that we have sitting around on our desktops, and even more powerful. Some can mine cryptocurrency while others cannot. So that is forms of technology. All of everything that you're talking about or that we're talking about is forms of technology. The metaverse. And so let me pause for a second. So thinking about other forms of technology, there are things like automation. And so robotic process automation, robotic process engineering, AI is artificial intelligence, and machine learning is machine learning, right? ML is machine learning, right? We also have things that are going to power the experience. So those things somewhat power the experience, right? Because they're going to make things a lot easier. They're also going to make things a lot more intuitive, right? So that's a word we're not hearing enough. We hear AI and people forget what AI means. It's artificial intelligence, but that means that technology is intuitive, or it's gaining the ability to be intuitive to our needs and to respond intuitively. So I am going to act like I am a reporter for, Channel 5 News, and I'm going to ask you questions. And so it's going to spit out a group of questions that you can utilize to ask. Those are the intuitive pieces that are going to make life better. So like in gaming, we call those a quality of life improvement, right? It's a QL improvement. It's a quality of life, or QOL, depending on which game you're in. It's a quality of life improvement. You see those all the time. Sometimes in patch notes, they say it, sometimes they don't. In technology, we usually have these things called patch notes. They are feature updates and enhancements and releases, right? So you have those kinds of words being thrown around. A common everyday person is now getting acquainted with those types of words. Oh, well, the latest release of GPT-3 is now GPT-4, and it's not GPT 3.5 because that was just a patch, but this is a full-on release. And it's like you have all these people talking about these iterations of technology where they would have had no space to do so before, but that is the evolution that we're seeing right now. But as we're talking about things, people are saying really silly things when it comes to the metaverse, and that is because they don't know. So let's rehash what the metaverse is. The metaverse is the future of the internet. Yes, I agree with that. Let's just roll with it. It is an evolution of the internet. So if I have my way, I will never see a browser tab ever again in about 5 years, because AI, which is also a technology, is going to kick in, and it is going to couple itself with other technologies like VR, virtual reality, and AR, which is augmented reality, and then the mix of the two, MR and XR. It is going to couple with those things to provide intuitive experience for me. The metaverse, guys, is the culmination of all of that. It is the cap on that little person's head. It is the cherry on top of it all. It is the infrastructure that binds all of that together. And so some might say it is the central hub for interconnection and interactivity and interoperability. I'm not going to say that because I don't want that. I don't even want to speak that into existence. So let me go knock on some wood somewhere. So what I do want is a metaverse that has all of that stuff that incorporates AI and MR and RPAs and VR and AR and MR and XR. And I want all of it connected with my domains and my ability to reach out and touch you on certain apps like Clubhouse and other apps and things like that. Like, I want that all connected. And I want to be able to use my avatar and go from one space to another to another. But first of all, that does not exist right now. And second of all, if we are going to go that route, which I pray we are going that route, but only if we are decentralized when we're thinking about it, when we are building for it and creating it, we have got to be decentralized because it is becoming more and more and more apparent that AI is pushing fast, faster than I think anybody thought the adoption is happening. The adoption that we wanted for the metaverse is happening with AI. Like, ChatGPT has just revolutionized everything. And even if ChatGPT is not your chosen AI, it is the way that people are choosing. It's the thing that people are choosing, right? So generative art brought this in, like, they paved the way for it. NFTs paved the way for that. The blockchain paved the way for that with cryptocurrency. So these things are layering up, they're adding up, it's stacking up. People's interests are happening. These movements are taking place all around you. And if you don't know some of the terms that I've just thrown out, if you are unaware of some of these different technologies and how you can use them or adopt them or adapt to them, connect with me because I want to connect with you. Because that is my goal and my mission in life, is to make sure that people understand what the future of the metaverse is and what it has to offer them. So you can join me, shoot me your email, and you can join me on the mailing list. And that is going to be running at the bottom of your screen right now. But I also want to just sit with this idea of the metaverse for a minute. So yes, you will be represented by an avatar sometimes, not all the time. When you want to travel somewhere that is not in your present or is not in your reality, you use your avatar. Your avatar may be the face of your bot. So if we're seeing things like auto AI pop off like we are right now, and we think about the evolution of that, the movies have taken us there. We've seen that. So we may be able to have our AI embedded into an actual robot. And then our auto AI becomes our automatic assistant that hangs out with us every day and is present physically with us, but can deploy itself wherever we need it to go virtually. So that's another way to think about the idea of our avatars. What I don't like right now with the idea of the metaverse is, first of all, Facebook. So Facebook came in and they swooped in, they told the whole world, we're building the metaverse. And of course, they are building a metaverse because they are a metaverse company. They are not the metaverse company, but sometimes you end up with whoever's voice is the loudest. And they came out and they said it, and they had 90 billion people listening to them. So of course it has to be true, right? So the problem with that is, if this was a reputable company, that would have been fine. If this was a company that had your best interest or my best interest or our best interest at heart, it would have been fine. But it's not. It's Facebook. We've been down the Facebook road before. Some people apparently forgot all of that stuff, but a lot of us did not. And so we knew that there was no way that the metaverse would be cared for inside of Facebook's arms. That's just not the place to go. That's one of them numbers where it's like you got a friend and that girl is dating that dude and you know that dude is no good and you be like, girl, that ain't it. That's what happened to us as an entire population. Facebook was trying to date our little sister and that ain't it. We gotta smack that out of the ballpark, y'all. We ain't having that. Like that's not the thing. So the reason that it's not the thing is because they don't care about us or our data. Or I'm sorry, they don't care about us or caring for our data. All they care about is our data. And they want to get younger and younger and younger. So they are going after the younger generation. The younger generation that they don't have, they and others, because others are following suit too, because if Facebook's doing it, clearly that has to be a good idea, right? And so others are going after the kids. They are making themselves at home in the minds of your 6-year-olds and your 5-year-olds. And they're doing that in places like Roblox, and they're calling it the metaverse. First of all, Roblox existed well before the idea of the metaverse that Facebook rolled out. Now, Facebook was working on this for a very long time, so I won't say that. But the idea when it rolled out, Roblox had already been very sticky. I used to teach people how to use Roblox and play with their kids. So that is actually something that it's a thing, right? I taught my niece how to play Roblox years ago. She was 3. So she's 8 now. So that's 5 years. That's crazy. But that's how long it's been. So when we're thinking about the metaverse, the reason it cannot be put into Facebook's arms is because Facebook does not care. Facebook is not capable of caring for us as we need it to, right? So we have this idea of decentralization. And decentralization is what's powering Web3 and the idea of Web3. Web3 chose the blockchain to instill decentralization into and infuse it throughout its internet, right? And so when Web3 becomes a thing, or if Web3 or 4 or 5 becomes the thing that people adopt, we will have true decentralization. And the reason that is important is because of our data and the fact that we're coming to a place where technology is growing monumentally and getting smarter every single day. And do you know how they're getting smarter every single day? They're absorbing the information that we provide. All of it. AI has already done that. So anything that we've given up already, it's too late because that information was signed, sealed, and delivered in terms of service and in privacy policies and in terms and conditions of every single platform that we've ever joined. And we just didn't read it. We didn't listen to movies like Enemy of the State. We didn't do it. So now all of that information is sitting in a server somewhere. And some genius thought it was a great idea to add in this technology that can learn. And so now it's taken your whole flavor, your whole essence, your whole everything, your whole you, everything that you've given up from the internet, and it's ingested it. And it said, I am now AI. Ask me anything. Now that alone puts it at a place where it's damn near smarter than half the planet, just by itself, because it is not limited to an industry. It is not limited to certain specifications. It is not limited to experience versus something that's learned. It got all of it. Now, some of that stuff was taken out, thankfully, because there's some evil people that do evil things on the internet. And so they took some of that stuff out. But when you think about, and you really, really stop to think about artificial intelligence, and what we're giving up in order to have it. Decentralization is the only route that we need to be concerned about right now. Decentralization can stop us from being further consumed and further profited from. Because now, not only does Elon Musk know your likes and your dislikes and your tweets and your distweets and your private group conversations, but AI, artificial intelligence, also knows that. And so anytime that someone wants to know, hey, how do I get Black women to buy a cute pair of shoes? They have the information right there with marketing tactics, and they can couple that with timing. They can couple that with literally everything that a marketing person or salesperson would do. And we know that some of those things are not always on the up and up. So what is it that can prevent that from happening? And the thing that can prevent that from happening is decentralization. I do not want to be targeted when it comes to marketing and advertising. Y'all hear me say this all the time. I can't stand that term, target marketing. I know that is a common term, but just like when I said this about GitHub years ago, when I said that on GitHub I can't stand the master-slave relationship, and that there was a master repo. And I didn't like that idea or concept. And I've said this years ago, even, back as far as 2011, because I remember it became a thing within my organization because I said it. I don't like the term target marketing because I don't want to be your target. I want to be the person that's amenable to what you want, but I don't like the term target. Like, if you think about targets, to me, like, I always think about darts, right? And this is why they say it, right? Because you got this big wheel and then you throw a dart. And if you throw it in the right space, then you get good points, right? You get the boost of the right number of points. And if you don't, and you're on the outer edges of it, then those are less points. And that right there is why I don't like target marketing, because it gives you that streamline into the normative, right? Like, so who usually is the one that's going to go for you? And then the outskirts is left out. I can't stand the idea of things being left out of the scenario, because those are the things that look like me. Those are the people that look like me. And those are the communities that look like me. Oftentimes, target marketing has not done well for our communities. Either we're always the target for this certain type of marketing, like liquor stores and things like that. That's historical information, so I'll use that. But when we're thinking about the future, like, I don't want that to be a thing. When I'm in my VR headset, I don't want liquor store ads, because that's what you assume that I want. And you won't even have to assume it going forward, because you're going to know. Because if you think about a VR headset, we've talked about this on the show before, you're sitting there right on my eyes. You have access to my field of vision and my eyes, and you see how I respond to certain things. When we have haptics involved, and so haptics are going to be the thing that allows us to touch and sense and feel in virtual spaces. When you have haptics, you're going to have the ability to have devices that are on you, just like your watch that tells you how many steps you ran a day or what your heart rate is. Some company somewhere has access to that information. And so when you throw up a shining green object and my eyes get bright and pretty, and I'm like, oh, what's that? You now know you got me. You got me. And so you can keep giving me exactly what I want until, I'm either broke or, until I lose my mind because I'm overindulgent. And I sit in the sense of euphoria, right? And so that's another thing, like, we don't want to have happen, is people to just be in this constant state of artificial pleasure. Some people want that, but that's not reality. We want to have a good mix of our technology and a good mix of our reality. And so that to me is why I always say I want virtual reality, but not unless we have decentralization to go along with it. If you've been watching the show, then you also know that VR, they did a study on virtual reality, and the data points in VR can target you. So there's that word. They can target you based on your movements within 2 seconds. And that is faster than any other technology so far on the planet. And that'll probably change next week, but right now it's faster than any other technology, and it is more accurate than identifying you by a fingerprint. So what do we think of that? What do we think about that? I think that decentralization is important, and I will always think that decentralization is important, but I also know that I am a techie at heart. And so I am loving everything that's happening with innovation these days. But I always stop to question, like, how can this be improved? How can we coexist? And how can we be supplemented? How can we use AI to supplement what we do without being suppressed, right? Like, I don't want to be suppressed. I don't want any other humans to be suppressed out of the process either. So how do we not be supplanted from the process? Yeah. All right. So we're gonna have news here in a minute. We're gonna go to our one of our sponsors really quick. Then we're gonna come back and tap into the headlines, and you'll see exactly why I've got what I've got on my mind this week. The metaverse. We need to reset and talk about what it is and why it is. This is NiKole. My voice is resting. We'll be right back. Where's the commercial I want to play? All right, so that is Artsy and VR, and she is a 3D virtual world social VR world builder. Oops. And we love and appreciate her for everything that she does for communities, for the folks, and for the metaverse in general. And so, you guys, that's what a virtual space can look like. You can customize it to your liking. You can have it outlandish. You can replicate what you're doing in real life. That is not the metaverse. Yeah, I said it. That is not the metaverse. That is a virtual space. And these are virtual spaces that people are enjoying. They're really cool spaces, but we're not there yet. Those are all metaverse spaces. You can call them worlds. You can call them spaces. They're portals, voxels. They are different environments that you can enjoy right now. But that is not the metaverse. That is a sliver, a tiny, teeny, tiny, tiny sliver of what we can do in the metaverse. It's just a piece. That's not it. That's not the full thing. And I hate that we've kind of gotten complacent in that. Like, we've kind of said, you know what? Give me the virtual space and let me have an avatar and I'll be fine. And that's not what this is. Like, that's not what we're building up. That's what we're enjoying because it exists right now. But it's newsflash, y'all. It's existed for years because gamers have been there for a very long time. Some of the customizations that we're seeing now, we didn't have, but in sometimes we did. Like I had houses that I could like decorate inside of my pictures, and that's no different than NFTs in spatial. So what we are building towards, this interconnected, interoperable future that is powered by technology, is the metaverse. And so it's not there quite yet because I can't travel from spatial to crypto voxels easily. I can't own my inventory, what I call inventory because I'm a gamer, but I can't own my NFTs from one space to and have them travel with me through another unless that space is also set up to accept the same type of crypto or NFT wallet, right? Blockchain based wallet. Unless it has the technology for that specific wallet. So we're not at a space where, you know, for those of y'all who've seen the movie, I'm going to use this as a reference, even though I don't like to, Ready Player Me, we are not there. We're not there. And so it's time for the news. I said it. I'm going to sit with y'all, and that's cool. You can be mad at me all you want to, but it's the truth. So as we're heading into the news today, we're thinking about the fact that the metaverse is not created by Mark Zuckerberg. It was not created by Facebook. The idea of the metaverse is not created by them or him either. And we have an opportunity right now to make our metaverse what we want it to be. Okay. So the headlines this week. Headline number 1. We're not even reading this story. We're going to look at it though. So headline number 1 is Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse is shattering into a million pieces. Having stuck with a fateful mission, the rest of the Facebook empire is paying a heavy price. Well, so are people. So, you know, there we go. That's all we're saying about it. I'm not doing it. Next up. Mark Zuckerberg has dumped the metaverse for his newest obsession. For his newest obsession. Dumped it like a bad date. He dumped it. And there he goes again. This was yesterday. After spending the better part of 2 years raving about the metaverse on every platform he could like an obsessed maniac, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has quietly buried the thing he once claimed was the future of the tech industry. Whew. Well, good. I'm happy about that, and I can't be happier. We've seen this evolve over the last couple of weeks. Mark has shifted his focus and said, "Hey, we're not focusing on the metaverse anymore because our stock is falling. We're going to focus on WhatsApp." And then he went to Instagram, and then he went to Facebook groups. And then he came back to Instagram, and then he rolled out some NFTs for Instagram, and then he retracted those NFTs for Instagram, and then he came back, and yes, y'all, Instagram, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, Meta. And so now he is focusing on, he went to, what was it? Video art generation, right? But all of those things, like, let's be real, all of those things are actually going to be tools to be used, or that may be used in the metaverse when we have it in its final form. Sure, technology like that, or technology that does the thing that those things do, like, oh, you know, you want to enjoy pictures that somebody else has put up, or you want to enjoy reels or something like that. There's going to be a means to do that in the metaverse, but it's not necessarily just going to be Facebook that does it. It's not just going to be something that a specific platform does, and it's going to be owned by the people. That's the important part. Okay. So there he goes again. And there he's going again off to AI. So artificial intelligence is where he's heading next. That is the space we don't want him. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg near anything intelligent or artificial, because again, he's going to be consuming people, and that is not what we want. I like this paragraph though. Keep an eye on Zuckerberg's newfound love with all things AI, Bernstein analysts say in a research email after a meeting with tech investors. It seems that the year of efficiency is winding down. Hey, we made it to April, and we're going to have a name change to Meta AI. Get it? Get it? Not Meta, but Meta AI. Anyway, so I thought that was funny. But as we're moving on, top executives are unconvinced by metaverse, blockchain, and quantum computing. Yet tech leaders plan to ramp up IT staff hiring to digital transformation. All right. So executive digital transformation. Now, some of y'all know that I have started using digital transformation. Now, why? Well, okay, so let's go back to the beginning of today's conversation. I have a long history in technology and implementation. And I used to be a part of the business process transformation team. Shouts out to you, Cara Wallace, and to the old team that we had over there. But digital transformation is what all of this actually is. So if you don't like the term metaverse, if you're not feeling the warm and fuzzies from it, if you think that these hideous virtual spaces don't quite do it for you graphically and you're just not there yet, because that's where I'm at. And yes, I'm still the metaverse goddess and I still said it. But if you are that person and it just doesn't resonate with you, think about this, especially if you're a business owner. The digital transformation is what you need to be focused on. Because one, that's going to be a lot more palatable for some of y'all over a metaverse, but also it helps you to understand what it actually means to have a metaverse. Digital transformation is what this is. So you are changing what you do, whether that be paper processing of your invoices and your tax returns and things like that, or making fashion that people wear, and it's the transition of that to a digital object and a digital way of interacting, right? And so we think about the two things that I just said, and you think about NFTs, because that's the digital piece of it right now. And then you also think about Fidgetals, which is the fusion of fashion and digital. So you can wear it in real life, you got a jacket, and in the digital space, you also have a replica of that jacket. You've transitioned. Your business needs to understand how to transition too. So when you're thinking about your business, where are you on the digital transformation maturity scale? And if you don't know, email me, because I'm going to send you my quiz before I launch it out on my website. So you can join the mailing list and you'll be the first one to get access to the digital transformation maturity scale. And so you can rate your own business, and it's all confidential. You don't have to worry about that. It's not like I'm releasing results anywhere. But then you can set up a consultation with me, and we can talk about how to automate and optimize some of your processes so that you can gain a little bit or a lot of it of your digital transformation and start to evolve so that you are not left behind. All right. Got a lot of stories to go through. We're going to keep going through them now. The next one is more about how the metaverse isn't just these virtual spaces that people think that they are. China's metaverse is all about work. So you think about, what we're doing here in the US, what we do in spatial, and most times in spatial, we're thinking about fun, right? We're thinking about things like Fashion Week in the metaverse, which just wrapped up not too long ago. China is thinking about work and productivity. So the government wants the metaverse to be less about having fun and more about, and less about having fun and shopping, and more about healthcare and industry. We have folks here in the US who have been building 3D virtual spaces for over a decade. Shouts out to Sally S. Cherry, who is a 3D architect, and she has been building worlds in places like, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of that place, but she's been building worlds for over 10 years. Forgive me for that. I'm having a brain fart. But, you know, other countries are building out with the real intent of what the metaverse is. So it's not just this place to go have fun and party. It is actually a place to get some work done and to collaborate universally across borders and without kind of these travel expenses that we have in business. So is your business something that you need to be thinking about ways to leverage these virtual spaces differently? Microsoft is doing a great job of trying. I attended some Microsoft virtual spaces and I can say I was not impressed. I did not go to the last one that they had in Engage, but I also am not so much of a fan of that particular platform because the avatars don't do it for me. When the day that I can put my own avatar in there is the day that I'll be a happy camper, or the day that they upgrade the avatar system. But other than that, the experiences in Engage are great. All right. Just not for me. All right, yo. So we talked about safety, security. Y'all know where I sit on kind of the ladder of being safe and secure versus what I actually want, which is to not have to worry about any of that and just have it be a thing where we all are just harmonious. Well, guess what? The metaverse version of the dark web could be nearly impenetrable. Law enforcement will find it much harder to take down criminal activities on the deepverse. I'm not spending too much time on this because this is not this. I don't play the scary game. But what I do say is that, you know, I like some of the sentences they used here is that just like how massive multiplayer online games, what did we talk about at the beginning? MMORPGs allowed individuals to create digital avatars of themselves and interact with other gamers in fantasy worlds. A full-fledged metaverse, now, this is the difference, will allow individuals to shop, to work, to socialize, and do other activities in a virtual replica of the physical world. Now, I go a step further with what I teach and train, and that is to say that not only will it be a step further for the physical world, but your imagination can actually take you to new heights. So I always tell people that when you're thinking about the metaverse, you get outside of the four walls that you're in and you think big, you go big and you go home. Now, this next article just came out a few minutes ago. So, wow. Meta's Reality Lab records 3.99 billion quarterly loss as Zuckerberg pumps more cash into the metaverse. Meta Labs had a 3.99 billion operating loss in the first quarter after losing 13.72 billion last calendar year. So hold your horses and hold the phone. I said quarter. 3.99 billion operating loss in the first quarter. The division is tasked with developing virtual reality and augmented reality technologies that make up the metaverse. Outside of Reality Labs, Meta is in cost-cutting mode as it copes with a slowdown in online ad markets. Wonder why? Because right now it's free to advertise in the metaverse, or it's significantly cheaper. And that's something that marketing folks apparently aren't hip to. And when they get hip to it, we need to all be hip to decentralization because, again, I don't want to be consumed and absorbed. This article goes on and on and on and on and on. 4.4 billion, let's just say that, 4 billion, they're on track for the second year of loss. And the reason for that is when you don't understand your what, that word I don't like, your target market, your target audience, you have this. Nobody wants to hang out in Pleasantville. And that is something that is real and showing up every single day. Moving right along. The next article is Legal Concerns of Real Estate in the Metaverse, Navigating the Virtual Frontier. We need to get back to talking about virtual real estate because we haven't. And so we're going to go back to talking about that as a topic. AI and kind of all this other stuff have stepped in, but virtual real estate is still something that people need to be aware of. And far too often, they don't know that you can own your metaverse space. So that is another thing that sets platforms apart from true ownership. When you have a virtual space on a platform, you do not own it. You don't. You might own little goodies that you put inside of it, but that platform at any point in time can just say that they're done, shut down the business, and then leave and take whatever shell or structure that you have with them. That is why it's important to have a virtual space given to you as an NFT. That way, when you are actually able to, first of all, you own it. It is a record of your transaction of ownership. Second of all, that allows you to be able to find a new platform to transition it. And if you don't believe me, I have been saying this for 2 years. Do not settle your virtual space, your business, into a platform that is not decentralized. And if you don't believe me, you don't understand why, think back to the beginning of March 2023 on March 10th when Microsoft shut down Altspace. It is the same thing. You must, it is imperative that when you buy and you create and you work with people to develop, that you own your property. Just like in real life, there is no difference. So make sure that you are caring for that. All right. Now, I'm not familiar with Kodi, y'all, but this is everywhere. So shame on me for not knowing a thing about Kodi. I'm going to go find out about Kodi, and I'm probably not even saying that, but I'm probably not even saying that right. But Kodi announces plans for a new metaverse virtual campus to upskill their global workforce. Now, this is a global workforce. So very much like Accenture created a metaverse to allow people to have their first day in the metaverse for all their new employees. Kodi is building the Kodi campus, and the campus is going to gamify global collaboration and engagement through a digital reward system, and they'll be opening it up later this year. So that's kind of cool. What's also cool is this. Come Dine With Me has entered the metaverse. It is a newly created world within Minecraft. Now, we don't hear a whole lot about Minecraft as adults, but Minecraft is absolutely out there, and it's akin to like a Roblox type space, but they have made, and I guess even CryptoVoxel-ish, because it does have that pixelated feel. Come Mine With Me is what they're calling it, and it is there in Minecraft. So I think that that's kind of cool. Love the diversity that's showcased, at least in this image. So that is something that's coming out, and you'll be able to search your internet providers to find out how you can get in touch with Come Mine With Me on Minecraft. The next story. This one took some reading a couple times for me. But Electronic Pearl Harbor Prophet issues a metaverse warning. Now, the security awareness co-founder, Wynn Schwartall, says we should be scared. And I'm going to say we should be aware. That's what I'm saying. I've read this. Y'all can go out and read it. There's some really good stuff that he said. There's some ideas that he has that, they're obviously not in line with mine. He is very conservative, for one thing. But He's also mentioned some things that are real talk, right? Like, so why the metaverse will be like the internet, only worse. If we don't decentralize it, it can be. How personal identifiable behavior will displace personal identifiable information as the greatest privacy worry. I've already talked about that. Again, within 2 seconds, they can find you and they can find out who you are with greater accuracy than your fingerprints. Whether it's time to legally clamp down on tech's reality distortion effects. Because who wants to distort reality? Because reality is great for everybody, right? I'm not here for that. What I am here for is this next story, and that is Generative Digital Fashion Week. This startup is skipping the metaverse for now. So I'm loving these. They created a generative digital fashion platform, and they launched their first collection. This collection is hot as fire, but you can't wear it in the metaverse. So what are they doing? Y'all have to go find out. It is a really cool story with some amazing fashion out there for anybody who is interested in that. This story is out on decrypt.co. That's DECRYPT crypt.co. Japan Metaverse Market Intelligence Report: government investment in technology is expected to drive metaverse innovations. Now, this is the difference between what we're talking about here in the US and what the rest of the world is doing. So while we're over here worried about what Facebook's doing, Japan's metaverse market is saying that they are planning to increase. It is expected to grow by 41.1% on an annual basis and reach 13 million in 2023. So those are things that are out there. And I believe that some of these M's should be T's, because we've talked about the 2030 outlook for metaverse spend, and that being in the trillions. So I'm not sure if this is a modified forecast or if this is just incorrectly written. Yahoo Finance, not sure. Moving on, the next story and the last story for today. Nifty news. Yuga Labs scores court battle win, Mandala Metaverse to drop on Polkadot, and more. The Metaverse AR story is coming to Polkadot. Square Enix has made another Web3 gaming play, and an NFT esports cricket game has launched on Tezos. So those are our stories for today, y'all. Go check them out. Go read anything that interests you. And the thing that's really important is that you tap in. We're just overdue. I want to say a few things about me, myself, and I, because why not? It's my show. So again, you guys, when we're thinking about the metaverse, I want you to be thinking about your business and how you can take advantage of the changes and the shift that's happening in the future and for the future of technology. Your business. We are seeing AI disrupt at greater speeds than Web3 even thought about. Web3, it was always conservative thoughts. It was always, we have to get people to acclimate to Web3, and we have to get people to understand what decentralization is and understand all these things. Well, with AI, they don't have to understand that. They just know this thing is helpful. And it's because it absorbed the entirety of everything. So it understands everything. You don't have to, you can train it and teach it what you want it to know, because then it will know even more. But at a baseline, it is extremely helpful, and people don't need help understanding what help is, right? So AI is disrupting businesses left and right now, industries, not just individual businesses. So when you think about yourself and you think about your small business, your entrepreneurial endeavor, or you're a solopreneur doing everything by yourself, connect with me and we can talk about how we can augment your creativity with a little bit of technology, or we can talk about how to get you right for the digital transformation. As we head into the metaverse, you can be technically savvy too. And this is NiKole Maxwell, and my voice is resting. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Today, we are sponsored by some great, wonderful people. That is Artsy and VR. We're also sponsored by the EE Testing Center down in Los Angeles or over in Los Angeles. And we are also sponsored by Black Multiverse Enterprises, as well as Technikole Consulting. Don't forget to connect with me on the Techniverse, in the Techniverse, yes, in the Techniverse, and at the Meta Mindshift blog and daily for your Meta Mindshift moment. This is NiKole, and my voice is resting. Thank you.